Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our Championship preview show. It says down the bottom there, round 22 to 26. That's because we are in catch-up mode. So we've got 6 games across tonight and tomorrow, which are in the main COVID postponements, or I think there might be an FA Cup postponement and a waterlog postponement. Anyway, the games are going ahead this midweek, so we can't exactly call it an official round of games, but we can certainly make some predictions about what is going to happen, and that we will do. Let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. Say hello if you are in the comments, and then the most important thing you can do in this show is give me your feedback and your predictions on how you think these games are going to go. Before we go any further, we say thank you to our friends, the Donovan brothers, who sponsor this show in loving memory of Michael of South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. The Donovan brothers with their sponsorship in the name of their late brother. Lovely touch. We thank them for getting involved. You too can support the channel in various different ways. The best way is Patreon. Subscribe to support the channel and receive regular Patreon and exclusive content. I've just put up the abridged Premier League predictions on Patreon. It's growing over there. It's good, and it's the best way to support what I'm doing here. Please go and get involved. Thank you to everybody else who's done that. And of course, you can support via Super Chat at any point during this broadcast. And if you are the first person to Super Chat, you become the king of the bin and you own the fake news Simbin sponsorship. Not that I think we'll be using it today. It gets the most use in the Saturday Super Stream, doesn't it? But still a great way to support and a silly little bit of fun. Of course, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button to bring others across to this stream who may not have found us on the channel. Hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. But again, I reiterate, most importantly, get your comments in, and in particular on this show, get your predictions in. Let's say hello to Liam, Annie, Mr. E, Milmore, Chris, Annie, Lee, Neil, Lewis. Nothing to do better than watch the bloom. There we go. I think that's called a backhanded compliment, isn't it? Thank you, Lewis. Afternoon to Sean. Lewis, did you check out my Wayne Rooney piece on tribalfootball.com? Swanscast Media is here too, and we are really going to need their help because this first game we're going to talk about is just massive in championship terms. So I can't wait to talk about that. Let's do it. There's only 6 games. I'll tell you what they are ahead of time because we can do it quickly. So basically half a programme. Swansea, Brentford. Wow. Millwall, Watford. Bournemouth, Rotherham. Bristol City, Huddersfield. Barnsley, Cardiff. Coventry, Sheffield, Wednesday. We will work our way down from the top as ever. Let's just have a look at the table so we do things properly. So Norwich now out of the FA Cup, 21 games to go, 7 points clear. And Norwich fans will be rejoicing as this lad Odegaard seems to be going in the attacking midfield position to Arsenal, which if you've been following this important transfer window, you'll know is good news in respect of them stopping any possible chances they had of taking Emi Buendia. Anyway, Norwich are not going to be the story this midweek because they're not playing. But what a matchup we have. Swansea versus Brentford. It's going to be a very, very tricky one to call. Get your predictions in the comment. Let's talk through it. We will, because it's such a big game, and I know someone will help out with a super chat. I'll buy this off Swans TV, which I think is showing it tomorrow, and we will do it as a watch along. It's kind of too big to ignore. Basically, with Norwich 7 points clear, and with Watford in between Swansea and Brentford there, Possibly going to maybe hit form. We don't know. We'll see how Xisco does there. You now have Swansea and Brentford, who are the two bona fide, no disrespect to Reading, but non-parachute challengers here, aren't they? To be fair, Swansea are still in receipt of a year 3 parachute payment, but we know that is used in a, basically they don't spend any of it on players or wages, as maybe some of it goes towards Ayew's wage, but it's not the advantage that you have if you invest the year 1 broadcast parachute money, put it that way. Brentford never had a parachute payment in their lives. We know how they've done it. Brilliant recruitment and year-on-year improvement. Both sides are in excellent form. It's a bit of a irresistible force versus a movable object. With it being at Swansea as well, it kind of plays into that narrative of Swansea, a very good team defensively, probably in terms of balance between being a good attacking side and a good defensive side. They're the best team in the league, because we'd say that, maybe a Reading a better, defensively, or a Middlesbrough in terms of pure defensively. You'd say maybe a Norwich or a Brentford might be a tad better going forward. But Swansea, for the balance, just they got it plumb, haven't they? The Swans and Brentford, they've just been an excellent football team for a good few seasons now. Let's look at the recent form, because it's just great, isn't it, for both of them. Annoyingly, you can't see a lot, but we know that Brentford, I think it's 16 games unbeaten, and over most sample sizes you pick, Brentford are the form team in the league, 5-10. Obviously, Norwich fans will pipe up and say, well, they're not over 25 games, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? And then Swansea, look at that. Last 5 games, 13 points for the Swans. Postponement of the last league game, but of course they won the cup game against Forest 5-1, didn't they? It should be really, really good. A Swansea win puts them 5 points ahead of Brentford, who will still have a game in hand over them. A Brentford win puts them into second place, pending what happens to Watford, who are, of course, playing as well. It's just beautifully set up. Something's got to give, unless we get a cancelling each other out draw. Of course, this was the playoff semi-final last season as well, wasn't it? That Brentford got through in that second leg, just blew Swansea away in the first half of that second leg, ultimately losing in the final. But two very, very evenly matched teams, let's just say. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat on this one. Should be a great one, shouldn't it? Swansea won 6 of 7 in all comps. Brentford unbeaten in 16. Wow. Just both in splendid form. Sorry, that meant Jason. I meant Borough. I wrote BOR, Borough versus Ruddock, not Bournemouth. Excuse me. Yeah. We were talking about Norwich with Buendia and Norwich without, but yeah. £10 on Swans TV with some top bias commentary. Well, I'll have the commentary off Swans Cast, and we'll give our own watch along, but can't wait. 2-2. Hopefully Swansea get 3 sent off. So they're all going to be sent off in the last minute then if it ends 2-2. Carl says 2-1 Brentford. Lee says 2-0 Swansea. 1-1. Let's hope it's not cagey, Liam, but it could already look like a playoff game, couldn't it, with the stakes. 2-1 Swans. Low scoring draw, says Mr. E. Choose the away audio. Yeah, absolutely. Draw, says Chris. Lewis agrees. Tight 1-1. Swans by the odd goal. Brentford 1-0. Not good for Watford. Both teams won't want to lose, so it'll be tense. Agreed with that. They haven't played at Brentford yet, have they? I don't recall. Because sometimes it works, doesn't it? If you know you've got the home game coming up, just go and draw the away game, and throw all your chips in on the home game. With Brentford having games postponed, would it be harder not having game time. Well, this is what we tried to figure out, Neil. We said when they came back, the game, who was against Luton, wasn't it? They're either going to be rusty or they're going to be fresh, and we don't know which, depending on how they have trained. Swanscast says 1-1. Hello to John. Can I please join? You're here. I think Brentford are too attack-minded to be defensive. True. Draw. They have played already. Thanks, guys. 1-1. Interesting. So maybe, maybe it's all shaking towards a draw, isn't it? Oh, dear. What am I going to go for? It just looks like a draw, doesn't it? Like a 1-1. And one of those ones where the goals will be done before 60 minutes and the last 30 minutes are just, see you in the playoffs if we have to. So I am going to go. I'm going to go for a draw, but I cannot wait. Join us tomorrow. I think it's 7, isn't it? And I'll sign up for Swans TV for that one. Are you equalised late on Swans unlucky? I do vaguely remember. Is there a red card in there? Right, Lee, we've been here before. I'm very insulted by any accusations of sitting on the fence. And as we've discussed in the prediction show, a draw does not mean you're sitting on the fence. If you genuinely think it's a draw, refusing to answer the question would be sitting on the fence. But I refute any accusations of sitting on the fence, Lee, and we can put you in the fake news sin bin. There you go. Only joking. He knows my aversion to being accused of sitting on the fence, which I get accused of an awful lot, hey? Apparently, when you talk about football, if you're balanced, you're sat your backside on the fence, aren't you? Millwall versus Watford. Millwall versus Watford. Get your predictions in for this one, please, guys. Watford, I saw them, didn't I, in the flesh, and then I saw them on the watch-along. So I'm pretty familiar with Watford and what they're up to at the moment. Some sense that they are relying on their good players rather than, do they look as polished as Norwich or Brentford or Swansea or Reading? No, not yet. But have they got some better players than some of the players playing for those teams? Yeah, absolutely. They've got some brilliant players, Watford, and some good depth as well. Millwall, not good at the moment. The thing with Watford is, we said, if they even improve just by, 5, 7, 10 points in their away form in the second half of the season, they'll get promoted because their home form is so good. There's the home form, 32 points from 13 games, outstanding. 4 better than even Norwich and 7 better than Swansea. You've only lost 1 game at home. But the Watford away form, only 7 goals. Look at that. 14 points from 12. What needed to improve. However, we did the Stoke game and they went and got the win. They were a little bit propped up by Troy Deeney having a brilliant 10 minutes in that game. It didn't look still. It was a case of some star quality barging their way over the line. Millwall, well, what I keep saying about Millwall is it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And then he pulls out a win from somewhere, doesn't he? So, yes, Millwall fans still not particularly happy with what's going on. But a win at Huddersfield Town last time out. And, okay, the Wolf moves away from the door. But then horrible home defeat in the Cup to Bristol City. And, we're not happy again. So it's a little bit on a knife edge there. Who are they beating, Millwall? The 2 wins on that screen are against Bristol City and against Huddersfield. They're both away from home. Their home form's terrible, Millwall, and defeats there to Coventry. Good draw at Bournemouth, though. So a bit erratic. Just looking at Watford's form, though, it's very good, isn't it, in respects of actually getting wins. 3 wins on the bounce as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in the last 5 wins in the last 8. So that is 16 points in 8. It is 2 points per game, even from Ivic leaving. You can see that Birmingham game. That was Ivic's last game, wasn't it? Interestingly, Watford will be very happy that Brentford and Swansea are playing each other, because one of them is dropping points. And if many of our predictions are right, that says draw, Watford could be on 49 in second place, with Brentford on 45 and Swansea on 47. So it's set up very nicely for the Hornets if they can go and get the away win. Let's see if anyone can convince me that they're not going to get the away win, because I think they probably are. But I'll have a look at the comments. Football has no room for reason debate. Absolutely not. 2-1 Watford, 1-0 Watford, 2-1 Millwall, 2-0 Watford, draw. Don't tell Chris, but I'm saying Watford for this one. 3-0 Watford, 2-0 Watford, 2-0 to the cycling goal. Is he back? It's been Daniel Backman the past couple of games, hasn't he? Away, Watford in too good a form not to go away at the Den at the moment. Kind of game we will draw, but I'm going for a win by 1. Hopefully a draw. No more Watford penalties. I'm a connoisseur of Troy Deeney penalties. I love them. I think they're great. Matt Smith to score a late goal for Millwall, but be too little too late. Get your money on that specific. Millwall in deep trouble. Their average wins aren't enough. We should have had more penalties at Stoke. Love a good penalty. 3-0 Watford, 4-0 Watford. A year of little faith. We've only lost 3 at home. Benjamin Bloom, you deserve a channel boom. I watch your content often. You deserve way more stuff. They will come. Don't you worry. They will come. Unless Lee is right and there is no room for reason debate. But hey, I think we're doing enough here on the channel. We don't need 100,000 subscribers. I think we can survive pretty well with 15 to 20,000. We are doing fantastic, but of course we'd like them. Go on then. Away win. Watford to keep it up. Just too much star power, I think. Hughes, Deeney, Sarr, Firmino. Probably be low scorer, won't it? Given the stench of Ivic and his very defensive work still probably around the place in a good way. And Rowett, obviously, very pragmatic. Right. I did say Bournemouth from Rotherham. I wrote BOR on my squiggly little notes. You see how my brain works, can't you? I meant to say Borough versus Rotherham. So that will be our next one. Get your predictions in. Middlesbrough versus Rotherham tomorrow night. Borough, well, I think they might have replaced Stoke as my perpetual 7th, which is obviously wrong, because if Stoke were perpetually in 7th, no one would replace them in 7th. But you know what I'm saying, don't you? They just seem to have that get close to getting in, lose a couple of games, get close, have a good run, get close to getting in. The home form has tailed off, hasn't it? The 2 defeats in a row, both they're both 1-0s against Blackburn and Birmingham. Yeah, so I haven't scored in either of those games, but sandwiched in there is a good away win at Forest for Warnock. So Borough a little bit hard to predict. Rotherham, I don't. Did they get a postponement? Or it feels like they haven't played for a week or 2. But 4 points from the last 2 games is the sort of start or basis of a little 3, 4, 5 game splurge that you really, really need when you're down there in the bottom 3. Just looking at that, Borough do have an ability to win games, though, don't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 wins in 8 is the same as Watford. Just the extra point from a draw in there. So 15 points in 8 is 1 off. 2 points per game. Warnock's always been all in, hasn't he? He'll go for it and he'll accept the defeat rather than the draw whilst trying to win. Let's have another look at the table. So the Rotherham 4 points came against Stoke and against Derby. For Rotherham, there's a gnarly little gap opened up, hasn't it? 5 points gap. And what people tend to do, I was saying this on the channel the other day, is when they see a game in hand, they tend to add on 3 points, which is ludicrous because Rotherham are currently less than 1 point per game. So 3 games in hand, you should be adding on, well, total up to 3 points, but you should be adding on less than 3 points for the total of the 3 games on the basis of the first 22 games. Obviously, the past doesn't always predict the future, as we know. Tricky one, this one, tricky one. I'm going to plead the 5th and see what you guys are saying in the chat. 0-0, 1-0 Millers, 2-2 home, Borough. 1-0 either way, Borough. 3-2 Borough. You do sometimes get Paul Warren in these mad 3-2 games, don't you? Middlesbrough excuses for consecutive home losses. Rotherham had lost 8 in a row away until recent win at Derby. We all know about Rotherham's god-awful away form in the Championship, don't we? 0-0. Nervy Borough win. 1-1 draw. We signed Ryan Giles. Is that true, Iain? When did that go through? I did a transfer update at 9 this morning. Good player, Ryan Giles. I didn't realise he'd left Coventry. There we go. 1-1, says Iain. Chris says home. Sammy Hutchison, says Ross. Hutchinson, sorry. It was Don Hutchison, wasn't it, with no N. God, I'm a pedant. Home win. I've been wrong twice in a row. So I'm doubling down. Well, I'm trebling down now, aren't I? I predicted Borough to beat Birmingham. They lost. I predicted Borough to beat Blackburn. They lost. So sorry, Iain, who's a great friend of the channel. I'm going with Borough. Lee agrees with me there. Right. Bristol City versus Huddersfield. Can we call that the Narky Wells derby? Get your predictions in. Bristol City versus Huddersfield. This one is tonight in 4 hours' time, says the SofaScore clock. All a bit middling, isn't it? Bristol City in 10, very patchy at the moment. Lose, win, lose, win, lose. Huddersfield are sliding. We spoke about Luton and Huddersfield and said of both of those sides, if the home form goes, they end up in the bottom 8, don't they? Probably too far away for real trouble. It'll have to be a really terrible run, and I think they're both too well coached for that. But both sides propped up by excellent home form. Let's have a look in respects of home form and away form here. Bristol City, the home side, they're 9th in the league. Huddersfield away from home, 21st in the league. Only 2 victories. Huddersfield signing Dwayne Holmes. Rolando Aaron's already added in there. It's spotty from both of them, isn't it? Look, Bristol City on the left, lose, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Huddersfield on the right, win, lose, draw, win, lose, win, and then lose, lose, lose. Who are they losing to? Well, Reading and Watford, top 6, but Millwall in the last game, who have not been good. What are you guys saying about this one in the chat, please? Bristol City versus Huddersfield. 2-1, says Tyler. 2-0, says Iain. Jeff's not happy. I feel confident. That never ends well. He says 3-1, Bristol City. 2-0, Bristol City. Bristol City, no draw in 13. Wow. Huddersfield lost 5 of last 6 away. No away win since 31st of October. Chris, our resident stat man here, love it. 0-0. Narky Wells derby, call it whatever you want, but I want to win. There we go. Home. 2-2. Yeah, Dwayne Holmes, we mentioned him. Home, says Chris. Bristol City win, right back in the playoff race. All the playoff chasers need a faller now, don't they? Got their eyes on Bournemouth at the moment, haven't they? 3-1 Huddersfield, says Carl. Home win. I'm going home win. I think Bristol City are solid enough, and Dean Holden's set up in that way a fair few times. So I think they'll be able to do enough to keep a faltering away side out there. Right, Barnsley v Cardiff, and you know what that means. Guess who's back? No, return of the Mick. That's what we're going with. Barnsley versus Cardiff, and everybody. Cardiff have a new manager. And I don't need to tell you who that is, do I? So Mick McCarthy returns to the, what would you call it, the genesis of his football career at Barnsley. And he returns with a Cardiff side. And I don't really know what's the point in even discussing it because he's going to win 1-0. It's just going to happen, isn't it? Mick and the old immediate impact. He'll probably sign Christoph Barrett about 4:30 and play him, and he'll score the winning goal. But Mick is back. Barnsley have now finished their tricky run where they played Swansea, Watford and Norwich in a row. I was at the game at Vicarage Road, and again, it's just the same thing with Watford as ever. It's just that extra quality Watford has got. Barnsley, I think even Watford fans would admit, look decent, but Watford held them at arm's length for the win in that one. But they're a good team, aren't they, Barnsley? And they're very, very solid, especially in their selection. Bit of a pudding of a pitch, but I think it had improved since we did the Swansea game. Cardiff, well, they've been hopeless, but Neil Harris has gone and Mick McCarthy is in there. And I know Mick, believe me, because he was Ipswich manager for 6 years. He will have made everything incredibly straightforward in the training. And they will be very, very focused in this game. And anyway, let's see what you guys are going to say on this one. 2-0 Barnsley, says Tyler. 3-1 Barnsley, says Iain. 2-0 Barnsley. 2-1 Barnsley, says Liam. Barnsley, no drawing 20. Well, Cardiff, no drawing 13. Love it. Home, says Chris. Sean Morrison header in the 96th minute to win one. If Mick gets an away win, it won't be in the 96th minute because you ain't going forward. You've got to defend that 0-0, for goodness sake. Mick was a hard as nails centre-back in the day. I'm old enough to remember. New manager bounce Cardiff win. Cardiff all the way, 2-0. I really like Barnsley. I really, really do. But the comical value of Mick McCarthy's return, I'm going to go for an away win. Can he do it? Probably talking complete nonsense and Barnsley will win. But there you go. Let's back Mick. Although I'm supposed to leave my bias at the door, aren't I? I'm not doing it for bias reasons, just for comedy, because I want to start hear some of his press conferences. Again, Warnock and McCarthy back together in the Championship. Finally, Coventry versus Sheffield Wednesday. Let's have a look at that one. Get your predictions in. Feels like neither of these two teams have played in the league for weeks. That's probably the case, isn't it? Let's just have a look. Oh, no, that's not correct. Coventry did play at Reading on the 19th, but that's been, oh, for God's sake, SofaScore. That's been their only game this month, by the look of it, in the league, yeah. And Wednesday haven't played in the league since the 1st of January, although they did play in the Cup. Well, half their reserve team played in the Cup, didn't they? So, difficult one to call. Wednesday had been in good form, hadn't they? 3 wins in 4 and 10 points in 4 as well. And one of those wins was over Coventry, beating Borough and Derby in the other games. Coventry just a little tail off after their splurge, getting them out of the sort of bottom 5-6 area. But the tide has risen below them now. And although there's a nice healthy gap between Coventry in 18th and Rotherham in 22nd, you can now see Forest and Derby possibly in a position in the coming games where they may go past Coventry. I think we know what type of game it will be. Coventry have got good shape and quite a good pattern of play. Sheffield Wednesday, don't really know what the system is, but I think Neil Thompson's kind of taken a bit of Pulis, but freed them up a little bit. So not quite as pragmatic there, but it's going to be a tight one. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments, Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday. Callum, 6-pointer if Cov wins, be 10 points ahead of Wednesday. That is a very good point that I didn't make. Thank you, Callum. So, yes, it'll be 29-19, and that's a big deal for Coventry, isn't it? If Wednesday win 4 points ahead, Callum's gone for 1-0 to Cov. 3-2 says Tyler to Coventry. 2-0 says Liam. 0-0 Snooze Fest. 1-0 Wednesday. Coventry 1-0. 2-0 Wednesday. Draw. Huge game. Lots of fixtures has led to Wednesday getting left behind. Away win. Mr. East behind Wednesday. Cov 3 consecutive draws at home. Last home loss, 24th. Yeah, they like St Andrews, don't they? Of October. Wednesday last away win, 17th of October. Home. Going nuts. 5-2 Coventry. Draw. I'm going to go for a draw in this one, which will suit Coventry, and they're the home side, won't it? And keep them at arm's length. 1-0 Callum Patterson Heather. You love to see it. 1-0 S House. Either way, you love to see it in the Championship, don't you? Unless you're on the other end of an S House. It's always a joyous thing to observe from afar. That is our show. So let me just bang through those games. We can sort by date on Sofa Score. So we've got Millwall and Watford tonight, and Bristol City and Huddersfield both at 7. I'm going to be doing Dearly Departed stuff. So I'll be doing Leeds Newcastle at 6. But we will cover Swansea and Brentford tomorrow. And of course, we'll do a mini review, just a 2-game review, possibly in the morning, possibly a pre-record. But we will be back live for Swansea Brentford. Please join me for that. I cannot wait for that game. Big Dearly Departed game tomorrow night as well. Fulham Brighton, which is a massive one. Then tomorrow night, you can see there's Swans Brentford, Barnsley Cardiff, Borough Rotherham, Coventry Sheffield Wednesday. And then we'll be to Thursday, where we'll be predicting the next round. Thank you, everybody, for watching. One more shout out. Stick your name down there, and I'll give you a shout out before we go. One more shout out, however, for the Donovan brothers. Thank you for their sponsorship. In loving memory of Michael of South East London, a lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of these shows. Please go and get involved over on Patreon. It's growing. It's the way we're going to do this. I know one of the comments said, "Oh, you deserve more subs," and what have you. You got to remember that, like Lee was saying, a lot of people, you guys like balanced debate about football. A lot of people want screaming and shouting. So the chances are we will grow slowly, a few thousand per season. So Patreon is really, really important in that respect, because we're not going to be getting 50,000 by the end of the season and cruising in off the ad revenue, are we? So if you do want to support the longevity of this channel, Patreon is the way to do it. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Yes, Logan, see you later. Leeds tonight. Come on, you on. So good luck to Watford and Millwall in that one. Take care, Mr. E. Good luck, Annie and Bristol City tonight. Iain says, can you expand Dearly Departed to the relegated club? So I'm still involved. Iain, we still want you involved. Do you know, I'll think about it. I'll think about it, actually. I just don't want to give myself about 36 clubs to cover next season. Thank you to John. Good luck to Bournemouth. Liam's mentioned it now, hasn't he? Potentially seismic events at Ipswich tonight. We think a defeat by a certain number of goals may trigger a certain activity. You know, we will see. Only mad video you made was when Ipswich lost 3-0. Did I get cross? I can't remember. How bad were they? I can't remember. Thank you to John. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you want, come and join me. I know it's not Championship, but come and join me for Dearly Departed tonight at 6. And I will see you tomorrow for the reviews and hopefully for Swans Brentford. Thank you, everybody. Over and out.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.